The Pittsburgh Steelers have completed their 53-man roster. All the roster cuts have been made. We have some surprises. 5 running backs are with the team when you include Derek Watt as the fullback, and only 4 cornerbacks. What does all that mean? Who are the players they all kept? And what do the Steelers do next? And we get some projections in on the NFL season where we see each division playing out. And I say we because I'm joined by Dean Iampietro and Josh Axelrod here on the Wednesday edition of the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Steelers, your daily Pittsburgh Steelers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter, bringing you your daily dose of all things on the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is Wednesday, September 1st. We've made it to September.
Woo-hoo!
Football is upon us. It is here.
Yeah.
I think so. We have one more week. we still got another week until the season opener between the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. We'll get to that in just a bit. But joining me as always on Wednesdays, we have Dean Iampietro here from Channel 11 WPXI and Josh Axelrod from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. As you know, we are the C, the I, the A, the agency. Bringing it to you hard and fast here on the Locked On Steelers podcast, which you can download anywhere, but especially on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Odyssey, as well as YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching us here. Share it with your friends. Helps us grow a lot faster. And rate us 5 stars with a positive comment on Apple Podcasts, and you get a special shout-out at the end of the show. Now, all that being said, guys, the 53-man roster was released at 4 p.m. Tuesday, and there were a couple of surprises, I will say. Now, one thing that nobody should be surprised at, and someone like, I forget who tweeted this, but they were like, sources say that Dwayne Haskins has made the roster. And I'm like, no, really? Like we all didn't know that was going to happen. Now, Ben Roethlisberger, Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, your quarterbacks. Wide receivers, no surprises there. Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Ray McLeod, Jesus Smith-Schuster, James Washington. Tight ends, Eric Ebron, Pat Fryman, Zach Gentry. All the offense right there. That makes sense. The offensive positions that caught me off guard, 8 offensive linemen and 5 running backs. The team let go of Rashad Coward and BJ Finney, which one of those guys may come back as later when they do some more maneuvering. But I mean, that leaves them really with J.C. Hassenauer. That means who he beat out BJ Finney at center. J.C. Hassenauer and Kendrick Green as your centers. And then Trey Turner and Kevin Dotson as your guards. And that's slim. I mean, you got basically one guy in J.C. Hassenauer who's going to jump in as a guard in that situation. Maybe they can bring in a guy extra there off the practice squad. And then you got your offensive tackles. But really, I think the big situation is all 5 running backs were kept. We all talked about this going into camp, right? We knew Jalen Samuels wasn't going to make the cut. But Najee Harris had to make the team. Derek Watt had to make the team. Kalen Ballage played his way into the number 2 running back spot. So then we were like, okay, well, who's the third halfback, right? Between Anthony McFarland or Benny Snell. Some people said Benny Snell because he's a guy that they picked a couple of years ago. Mike Tomlin's always liked him. Anthony McFarland because he's Matt Canada's guy and he's more of a trickster. Trick question. They're both on the team. Dean, did you agree with this move? Like, how did you feel about this?
We'll get into the totality of it too when we talk about the defense. The surprises aren't even so much who was cut, but who was kept, like you said. And I've got a real big feeling that the 53 that we're seeing right now is not going to be the 53 on opening day, September 12th. Snell's, I think, going to be the odd man out eventually. And because Snell and Ballage do the same things, and Ballage is better at it.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's cut and dry, and Snell didn't show anything in the preseason.
He had a good 17-yard run, but he was hurt too much. I mean, I think that's not a bad thing on him. It's just the unfortunate luck part of it. But hey, he made the initial roster. That gives him more time to prove himself, and at least he's bought himself that.
Here's where the concern is for me: is looking at that offensive line. Yeah. The people they kept and the people they cut tells me that Zach Banner's not ready to go. Haig.
Interesting
they
take
kept
there.
Haig.
Yeah.
They kept Haig. They
Well,
might they might move Chooks to the right,
Mhm.
fill in for Banner. I mean, it doesn't look like, based on who they kept, that Banner's 100% ready to go.
I will say this: they kept 4 interior offensive linemen and 4 outside offensive tackles. So I think there was an even balance there. Now, and it's been told in practice. Kevin Dotson told us. Dan Moore's confirmed us. Dan Moore was playing left tackle while Shakuma Okorafor was playing right tackle.
Right.
But I get the feeling Zach Banner is gonna come back sooner rather than later. Maybe not week 1, but
may not be week 1, right?
Yeah. So maybe we see something there. But Joe Haig, I think they just needed a 4th tackle, because if Zach Banner does have a problem, and then they're 1 injury away from having no offensive tackles, and that would be a disaster. So also, and that's why it was interesting why they only kept 8 linemen in general. Josh, we'll get to you in a sec. I just want to go over the defense real quick. 8 defensive linemen kept: Tyson Olulu, Isaiah Buggs, Carlos Davis, Cam Hayward, Isaiah Loudermilk, Henry Mondeau, Stephon Tuitt, and Chris Wormley. That's an insanely deep crew. That's a surprise to me, because that's another spot where, you know what, they are deep at defensive line. They might not have needed to keep a Carlos Davis, but they did, and along with keeping 10 linebackers and only 4 cornerbacks. Josh, do you think 4 cornerbacks is too risky of a move, or do you think that's where we're seeing the future move coming?
If that's not where the future move is coming, they really need to think about how they allocate their resources. Yeah, 4 cornerbacks is not going to cut it. We've been talking all season about how the Steelers have a lot of top line talent at most positions, including in the secondary. That was always the thinnest, and somehow it just got thinner. So yeah, Colbert's got to start looking who got cut and who might be able to come in and, if not be a starter, at least provide some depth. Like, that secondary needs all the depth it can get. If Hayden, God forbid Joe Hayden goes down, like I don't even know who else would step up at this point. I also just wanted to mention on the defensive line, I'm assuming keeping all those guys probably means Tuitt's not ready to start the season, right? Like that's the main signal on that. Which he's obviously
I would agree.
He's obviously had an extremely rough offseason for many reasons.
Yes.
So no one's gonna blame him if he's not ready to go week 1. So yeah, if keeping the extra defensive lineman was for those purposes, that makes total sense. And guys, I just want to make sure we catch this. We kind of glossed over one major cut being punter Jordan Berry.
We were getting there.
I just wanted to be the first one to say it. We got chunky punter, guys. It's chunky. It's chunky punter season. Presley Harvin, let's go.
Let me tell you, that dude has a leg. It's ridiculous. It's like he has a cannon in his leg. It's no surprise that happened. But I do think Jordan Berry played his way into saying, hey, NFL teams, if anyone needs a punter, he might be one of the first people.
Nothing against Jordan Berry. He was very solid for us. I know that people talked about the special teams and that that the Steelers needed to at least look into another guy. And Presley Harvin beat him out fair and square. Yeah. And Jordan Berry will get a chance. But also, guys, Presley Harvin is already a living Steelers legend. This is so exciting.
Yes.
It is crazy. It is crazy. Now, I will say, looking at the last thing I wanted to talk, I didn't want us to miss here before we go to break. They only kept 4 edge rushers, but it wasn't, if you had talked to me back in, April after the draft, I would have said, okay, yeah, this makes sense. But then Melvin Ingram, I was like, okay, so then it's going to be between Cassius Marsh, Quincy Roche. Both of them got cut. For Jameer Jones, who really showed up strong in training camp and in the preseason. So congratulations to Jameer Jones for winning a tough roster spot in a packed linebacker room. They kept 6 off-ball linebackers, which is very interesting because Ulysses Gilbert and Marcus Allen being both on the list. I thought one of them might get the axe, maybe Robert Spillane with how bad he played, but I think he's still the better option of those 3. So there's that. I want to get you guys' thoughts on what the Steelers need to do next the most We'll do that on the other end of the break. But first, I got to tell our fans about betonline.ag. It's that time of the year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the football season. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. Get all the updates on odds, props, and contests, including the $500 million NFL Mega Contest and $200,000 NFL Survivor Contest open right now at BetOnline. Head to the website to use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. Be sure to take advantage of their opening day super promo, which is make a bet on the Thursday, September 9th season opener between the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. If you lose, your wager will be refunded up to $25. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, from football to basketball to boxing to right down to horse racing. Don't wait and take advantage of all the great offers available for the 2021 season at betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. Back here in the Locked On Steelers podcast, I'm your host, Chris Carter, here with Iampietro and Josh Axelrod. We are keeping it rolling. Let's finish out some thoughts here on this roster. Now, 4 safeties, totally predictable. 4 corners, not so predictable. To me, that is the biggest addition this team needs to make, is to go find a slot corner. Jimmy Moreland, a guy cut by the Washington football team.
That's the guy.
Tons of slot experience. That's the guy I think that they need to go after. He's a vet. You could plug him in. Maybe he's even good enough to say, hey, Cam Sutton, bump back outside, and the depth is there again, because they let go of Arthur Maulet. Antoine Brooks is hurt. So Cam Sutton right now is your only slot option. That will not fly the closer they get to the season. They tried Trey Norwood there. He's learning, but he's a 7th-round rookie. That's not something that you easily adapt into, being a slot cornerback. So that's my top concern there. Would you guys agree, or do you think offensive line takes precedent in that situation?
Oh, no, the secondary.
Still the secondary, okay.
I think if you got a decent enough veteran guy like that, you want to bring him in for sure. Absolutely. The offensive line is a concern, yes, with Banner's health being a question mark. But we knew of those concerns. We've known those concerns the whole time. It just seems like the secondary has been oh, Nelson's not coming back. Oh, we didn't sign Hilton. Okay. So it's like, what's going on there? That's still a work in progress. I think they're riding the offensive line as they have it, unless some surprise solid name is out there. It's going to be ride or die with them.
Yeah. The thing about the offensive line is obviously I have talked about in the past that they're a little shakier than other Steelers positions, but they have bodies at least. So if guys goes down, there are at least warm bodies waiting for them. The secondary doesn't have that. They just have 4 guys. That's not enough for an NFL secondary. No, Jimmy Moreland was immediately like the second that it was Washington that released him, I think, right?
Yeah.
The second that happened, I saw people being like, Steelers, this is our guy. So I love what you just said. Put him in the slot, bump Sutton outside, which I feel like is more his natural position anyway. So yeah,
I will say this, James Pierre has definitely earned snaps at that outside cornerback spot. He's looked good. I don't think he's the problem. The issue, I think, and maybe this is even what they do. Jimmy Moreland comes in and is just behind Cam Sutton in the slot, and they keep James Pierre out there. But then that way, if Pierre or Hayden goes down, Sutton jumps to either of those spots, and then you play Jimmy Moreland, and that way you have a bit of a more buffer before you get to Justin Lane. So maybe that's part of the plan. We don't know yet. We will see.
The less Justin Lane, the better.
Well, no, I will say this. Justin Lane came on really strong.
He played better than he has.
Yeah.
Did he? Okay.
So far.
Yeah. He stepped it up in the last 2 preseason games and the last, I'd say, like 4 or 5 weeks of practice. Okay. I've seen him play much stronger and more consistently. So Justin Lane, and special teams, does really well there. So I will say all those boxes he checked, he earned his roster spot.
Okay. Sorry for this slander, Justin Lane.
It's okay. But so offensive line concern, cornerback concern, wide receiver, of course not. Running back, they're full. Linebackers, I feel like they're full there as well, unless they get another off-ball linebacker they feel will help in coverage. Defensive line, they're obviously full. So then I guess it all comes down to quarterback, and of course the big question, guys. Cam Newton was cut by the New England Patriots. Do we think the Steelers should sign him? Cam Newton to the Steelers.
LOL.
Like that would happen.
Oh.
Anyways, but in all seriousness, I'm a big Cam Newton guy, but that's just not happening. If they wanted to get him, they would have gotten him earlier. He's going to cost a good amount of money, and this is how I saw that situation playing out. It wasn't that Cam Newton was cut by the Patriots because they're like, oh, you can't play here anymore. It was because Cam Newton was probably told, hey, man, we're going with Mac Jones at number 1. He was like, listen, man, I only got a couple more years left. I want to at least start somewhere. So cut me if I'm not number 1. And he probably did that. And hey, Cam Newton's a former NFL MVP. He's been to a Super Bowl. I get not wanting to wait around anymore and knowing that you don't got a whole lot of time left. But that's why the Steelers ain't picking him up, because he ain't going to do that for behind Ben Roethlisberger neither. And the Steelers, I mean, I know people are like, oh, but Mason's not that good and Dwayne didn't show enough. But it's like, listen, Cam Newton's going to figure this offense out in like a week. It isn't. It'd be different if there's a rush of injuries, like if Ben goes down and then Mason goes down. Okay, then okay, we take that whole laugh track back against Cam Newton, and then you're on. But that's if disaster strikes. The Steelers are not in a disaster mode at quarterback.
My only Cam Newton take is I hope everyone out there is vaccinated.
Ooh,
nice.
Shots fired by Josh Axelrod. That's a good way to end that segment too. All right, now let's get to the next part of the show. This will play between this segment and our final segment, but we're having fun here. We're going to do division predictions. I want to get all you guys division predictions here. We're going to lead off with the NFC, because that's the one that Steelers fans are going to care about the least. So let's lead off with the NFC. NFC East. Who you got? Give me your 1 through 4. Who you got winning and coming in throughout the division? Dean, give me your rankings.
Washington.
Ooh, repeat.
Dallas.
Ooh, okay.
Philly. Giants.
Okay. Not a big Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts guy.
No. Absolutely not.
You think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to carry them dudes?
Doesn't matter what I think.
Well done.
I was going to get you, but that was good defense.
Well done.
That was good defense. Josh, NFC East predictions.
That was some Minka Fitzpatrick level defense too. I think I'm with you on that order, except I'd flip the Eagles and the Giants. I think the Giants have. I mean, the Giants came on strong at the end of last season. I think they have some legitimate talent, and they went out. They got Kenny Galladay, right? Like they went out and they got some receivers for Jones, and Barkley's back. So I'd like to believe they have more talent than the flailing Eagles right now. So yeah, I'm with you. Otherwise, though, I weirdly have more faith in Washington than Dallas, because I've been watching Hard Knocks, and Dallas does not look impressive on Hard Knocks at all. And who knows when we'll see Dak? So yeah, I'm with you. I'm going Washington.
Dak to me is the key here, but that Washington defense is tough. I still don't believe in too many of the teams. I have heard really good things on Jalen Hurts though, so I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go Eagles first place, Cowboys second, Washington third.
Whoa!
I see Jalen Hurts surprising some folks this year.
Whoa!
Wow!
But yeah, so
I'm saving this one.
That's a hell of a take.
NFC North. Packers. I'm going first this time. I got the Packers winning it. Bears coming in second. Vikings coming in third. I actually have it just doing what it did last year. Bears are going to be a wild card team, a little bit better than 8-8. Packers still run away with the division. Vikings in third. Dalvin Cook, I have a really good year, but that's about it. Lions.
Yeah.
Dean.
Yeah. Green Bay and Minnesota.
Stop scratching your beard. We can hear it.
Green Bay, Minnesota. Chicago, then Detroit.
Okay, so you got the Vikings going over Chicago. Okay,
yes.
Interesting stuff there.
Too much
Josh,
Dalton, not enough Fields.
That'll change quickly, I'm telling you. Josh, who you got?
Yeah, I guess we're assuming that Rodgers stays put this season. So yeah, assuming that happens,
he's not going nowhere.
He's coming to the Steelers. Yeah,
I didn't say it this time. Dean did. So assuming that's the case,
he baited you, Dean.
Assuming that's the case, Packers number one. I'm gonna if Matt Nagy wants to keep his job, Fields is gonna play. So I'm gonna have the Bears at 2, Vikings at 3 because Kirk Cousins is gonna get COVID at some point, and then Lions and like getting Lions possibly getting the number 1 overall pick in the draft next year.
Very possible. Very possible.
Yes.
All right. Real quick. NFC South. I got Tampa Bay winning it because they didn't win it last year. People forget that. They were a wild card last year. I got Tampa Bay winning it. New Orleans coming in second, and they will earn a wild card in my book. I think that Jameis Winston is a little bit farther along than people expect, and they still got talent on defense to work with. So there's that. Then I got the Falcons, then the Panthers. I'm sorry, I just don't believe nothing that Sam Darnold's a part of.
Go ahead, Josh.
Definitely Bucks. It's wild just how many players the Bucks are bringing back from that Super Bowl team.
All 22 starters has not happened in the modern era.
As I said, wild. I'm gonna give Atlanta number 2. I know they lost Julio, but I don't know.
Al Pitts.
I don't know. I got to root for something with Pitts in the name, right? And then frankly, the Saints seem like kind of a mess at the moment, especially with Michael Thomas being his fate being uncertain. And I know Marquez Callaway looks like the second coming of Michael Thomas, but
he looked good.
We'll see. And yeah, Sam Darnold. So yeah, Panthers last.
Last NFC division before the next break. NFC West.
Wait, Dean didn't do this out.
Hello?
Sorry. This is why you shouldn't switch up the order, Dean. You let me do the order, but this is why you get skipped over sometimes. So go ahead with your quick NFC South prediction that no one really cares about.
Wow, that's harsh.
I
Bucks,
care what you think.
Thank you. The Bucks, definitely. And when I say that Atlanta will be second, I mean second with like 6 wins.
Ooh, dang.
And like New Orleans with 5 and Carolina with 4. I mean, the rest of that division is crap.
I didn't think it would be that bad, but okay.
That's okay. That was quick and fast. All right. NFC West, maybe the best division in football this year. I got this year. It's going to be the Rams at number 1. I got the Cardinals at number 2 and the Seahawks at number 3, with the Niners still coming in 4th. I think they take a little bit longer to bring Trey Lance along than they'd like. But I'm sorry, the Rams got Matt Stafford. They're going to be a better offense this year. They still got a playmaker full defense. Gonna go with those guys. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and now they got an offense that they're not scared to throw the ball a little bit downfield. So that's where I see this. Dean, give me yours.
As horrible as the NFC South is, the NFC West is that much better.
Yeah.
Arizona, number 1 seed in the NFC.
Excuse
the Rams.
me?
Whoa.
The Rams, a very close second behind them. Obviously not a number 2 seed, but they'll be like a game behind them. And then Seattle and San Francisco.
Wow, we are polar opposites here. For the sake of my fantasy team, because I took Matt Stafford as my QB, I'm going to have the Rams at number 1. I need that to pan out. Probably Seahawks number 2. Just let Russell cook. I actually think the Cardinals are the worst team in this division. I'm going to put the 49ers at number 3. I think the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan's too smart to not eke out more, to not make them competitive, at least with like 2 functional quarterbacks. And there's some bad juju around the Cardinals this year. I don't have any real discernible football reasons for this. I have a bad feeling about them. I also think Cliff Kingsbury is a terrible coach. So that has something to do with it. So
man, you came with the fire for the Cardinals. Jeez, what did they do to you? They lost Super Bowl 43.
They are not fun to play with in Madden. They should be more fun.
That's what it is. He can't win with the Cardinals in Madden, so that's
they should be more fun than this, and they're not.
All right. I get you there. We're going to switch to the AFC predictions in just a second, but first we're going to talk to you guys about DirecTV Stream. Does this sound familiar? You got one device that lets you catch the game live, another device that lets you stream your favorite shows, and then you're watching your sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream. And it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com, DIRECTV.com. Built.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. And we're also brought to you by Built Bar. If you want a healthy treat that tastes like a candy bar, Built Bar is the protein bar for you. It's the official protein bar of the U.S. track and field team, and it comes in so many different flavors. Whether you want a fruity snack like raspberry, strawberry, or orange, or something different like salted caramel, cookies and cream, Rocky Road, or my personal favorite, double chocolate, Built Bar has so many flavors for you to enjoy. And the best part, they're all healthy. They range from 130 to 180 calories. They pack 17 to 18 grams of protein, but they only have 4 to 5 grams of sugar and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. That's a tasty and healthy snack. They'll save you from eating that snack you'll regret later and stay on task with anyone's diet. Order today and get your favorite flavor delivered right to your door by going to Built.com to use promo code LOCKED15. That's LOCKED15, LOCKED15, all capital letters, all one word, LOCKED15 to get 15% off your next order. Again, that's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. And as usual, if we have 2 back-to-back reads in between the segment, ain't no breaks. We rolling through it. So let's do this thing. Guys, AFC predictions. We will finish with the AFC North predictions. That's what everyone wants to get to. So we're teasing it. But want to go. Let's start with the AFC East. The Bills are clearly the favorites for everyone. They won the division last year. I'll say the Bills are definitely coming in first. I kind of think the Patriots might sneak the Dolphins this year and get that 2 spot back. They're really confident about Mac Jones. They went and signed a bunch of guys in free agency. Maybe there's some magic with some Belichick there, but Brian Flores has been doing a good job. Jets are still coming in dead last. I don't care what nobody says.
Sadly, I agree with you. I think the Bills are the number 1 overall, by the way.
Whoa, they're beating out the Chiefs?
Yep.
That's not even that hot.
It's not that hot.
And I thought it was hot. I mean, who's taking out Patrick Mahomes? Okay, though.
Josh Allen. Yeah, I said what
Did he do that last year?
No, he's going to do it this year.
Okay.
The past is in the past.
But yeah, I like New England. I like them coming up, being a wild card team. Actually, I think their defense is solid, and they've made enough changes, and they just might take some team by surprise. It might take Mac Jones lightly. So Dolphins third, Jets are an abysmal Detroit level franchise.
Yeah, they'll be competing for that first overall spot again. Okay, Josh, give me your AFC East predictions.
Bills first, Jets last. And out of pure spite, I'm just going to have the Dolphins at second and the Patriots at third. I want Tua to be good. There's no reason why Tua shouldn't be good. I certainly don't particularly want Mac Jones to be good. So you know what? This is not football analysis. This is just purely what I want. Dolphins number 2, Patriots number 3.
There it is. Just get the bias in there. That's all. That's all we need with the analysis. AFC South. This is a little tricky. You got a situation here where the Texans are still the bottom of the barrel, maybe, but the Texans didn't come in last place. It was the Jaguars last year who did. They got Trevor Lawrence, but they lost Travis Etienne to injury. I have to say the Colts are going to come in first place. I do think that they're going to be able to balance things out. You know what? No, what am I thinking? The Titans.
What on earth are you thinking?
Yeah,
I was gonna check your blood alcohol content.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't started drinking yet tonight, but it's right over there. So I'm going to do that later. But no, Tennessee Titans. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize, Jarek Henry. Please do not come and stiff arm me in my.
He's gonna run you over.
He's gonna run me over, stiff arm me. I'm just gonna be laying there like,
Henry and Julio are gonna come for you.
Yeah. Listen, check yourself. Tennessee Titans, they're definitely my number 1 seed. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm sorry. I must be drunk. But the Colts, I think, will be a closer number 2 than many expect. I really like Jonathan Taylor. Quentin Nelson, they say, is already coming back from injury. Carson Wentz might be back sooner than they thought as well. Darius Leonard's a heck of a linebacker. I think they've got a lot of special things working out there. The big thing here is both of these teams are just going to beat the tar snot out of both the Texans and the Jaguars this year. I don't think either team stands much of a chance against them. Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, I'm excited for you, buddy, but you got a lot of rebuilding to do there. And the Texans, they're just a dumpster fire.
Yeah, this is definitely Tennessee's division for sure. The Colts, I don't have them as a wild card. They'll be second, but I don't have them making the playoffs. And
it's the AFC's real tough this year.
And yeah, I mean, Jacksonville and Houston might be tied with like 1 win each against each other. I don't know.
We're having a lot of teams competing for the first overall pick, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's the NFL. There are a lot of bad teams. Obviously, it's the Titans, and that's just obvious. I don't understand what's happening in Indianapolis right now. There's so many phantom injuries there. Ty's out for a couple weeks now. Right. Ty's always out. If you pick Ty Hilton in fantasy, that's your fault, not his.
You know it's coming.
At least it came before the season this year. You know, I'm going to go out on the limb. I think the Jaguars might be better than the Colts. That's my go out. That's my go out on the limb pick this year. I think Trevor Lawrence is essentially the second coming of Andrew Luck anyway. So
he's going to put up phenomenal numbers, but never win anything.
Exactly. And I think the Colts,
they're going to have AFC finalists as a banner in the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium.
That's the banner they hung from the Blake Bortles era. So why not have it for the Trevor Lawrence era too? But no, the Colts they have an aura of a team of a year from hell to me. They just feel like they're going to be injury plagued all season. So the Colts have more talent than the Jaguars, but I think the Jaguars might surprise them. I think Jaguars are going to take some people by surprise and then maybe sneak a couple extra wins they shouldn't have. So I'm going to go Titans, Jaguars, Colts. It'll be close between the Colts and Jaguars. And then I have nothing good to say about the Texans, and I'm not going to say anything at all.
Right.
All right, we're running out of time here because we're way over. But real quick, AFC West. I mean, Chiefs, obviously. I have Chargers number 2, Raiders number 3, Broncos number 4. Chargers a wild card team. I think they're a dark horse in the AFC.
Same thing. Chargers are absolutely they're gonna push Kansas City, but they're just not gonna quite get over the hump with them yet.
Definitely Chiefs. Definitely Chiefs first. Definitely Raiders last. My only hesitancy with the Chargers is that they're the Chargers, and the Chargers always find a way to Chargers every season and underachieve because they have so much talent and they can never seem to put it together. But I guess if we're just ranking the teams 1 through 4, yeah, the Chargers are at number 2. I'm just going to have the Broncos over the Raiders because the Broncos have so much more talent than the Raiders. They're just, if Teddy can just give them like a decent quarterback play, like replacement level, they'll probably be better than the Raiders. But yeah, I'll just pick them over the Raiders just because John Gruden does weird things and they don't trust him.
All right. Now we're to the big show, what everyone's been waiting for. AFC North predictions, fellas. I'm going last with this one. Dean, you start us off.
Sure. Put the pressure on me.
Yeah, of course.
That's cool.
I'm the host. I can do whatever I want.
Your AFC North champions for 2021 are your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh!
Ayo.
With 10 wins. 10-7.
Whoa, that's a tight. That's a 10-7 wins the division. This division.
You're gonna give all of us a heart attack all year.
And the Browns and Ravens might both be 9-6 or 9-8. I'll put the.
You did the reverse. You took away a game instead of giving.
Yeah. Well, that's why the Steelers won. You see.
That'll do it.
I'll have the Ravens second and the Browns third, but I think the Ravens and Browns both make it as a wild card, and the Bengals will be improved. They may get 6 or 7 wins.
All right. Josh, your predictions.
Honestly, I agree. I think the Steelers win. I think it's going to be really.
You to say that.
It pains me to say it because it goes against all logic from just about every national pundit. But as we've talked about many times, national pundits aren't watching as closely as we are. So I'm going with the Steelers at number 1. I think as long as Ben holds up, I'm fine with that prediction. I'm going Browns at number 2. I do not particularly like the Browns. I think they're overrated, but I think they're probably still a playoff team. The Ravens are another potential season from hell candidate. Like between J.K. Dobbins going down and I don't know. I think the league, I just don't know if Lamar is ever going to look like he did 2 years ago again. I think it's going to be real close. Oh, this is going to be a real close division between all 3 teams. I just think it shakes out Steelers, Browns, Ravens. And then I agree with Dean. The Bengals are going to be competitive. Like they're going to be frisky if nothing else, but I'm not worried about them as like actual contenders. So yeah, that's my 1 through 4.
All right. So we got you two both picking the Steelers to win the division. I guess it's up to me to see if we complete the trifecta. And I do not say the Steelers are winning the division. They're going to be tied
Turn in your
Baltimore
yids or cards.
So his Twitter handle is at Carter Critiques.
They're going to be tied with the Ravens at 11-6.
Okay.
But there's going to be a weird tiebreaker. They're going to have the same division record. They're going to have, I think they're going to have the same record against the same teams. They're going to split their division series against each other, and it's going to come down to some weird point tiebreaker. And the Steelers will be a wild card team that everyone's going to feel like, man, that team should be hosting some teams. Just kidding. The Steelers are winning this division. What do you think I'm doing? I'll get out of here with that. I'm going with 13-4. I've been like real backing off and like, I don't know about this. The Steelers are showing everybody what's going down this year. I had some time to rethink this. I also think J.K. Dobbins' injury is a lot more impactful to the Ravens than many people thought. But you know, this team, T.J. Watt's going to be back very soon. This offensive line is going to be better than people believe. Ben Roethlisberger is going to be healthy this year. Najee Harris is going to turn into the best running back in the AFC North, and yes, that means Nick Chubb. The Ravens will be close behind. I do think they legitimately will have 11 wins. I think they're still a contender with Lamar Jackson, even with J.K. Dobbins gone. But there's that Gus Edwards, good player, not enough, I think, to take on the Steelers. The Browns are where the drop happens. I see them going 9-8. I see them struggling, and it's going to be a rough year for Browns fans who thought they had finally had the super team. Bengals, a little bit better, 6-7 wins. I think they get some of those off of the Browns and Bengals. I don't think that happens against the Steelers this year. I think they're tired of I think they kind of received the message. They got some points to prove this year, and this team's loaded a lot more than people anticipate. So Steelers going to win the division. It's going to be it's a unanimous. It's trifecta. The CIA, the agency has
spoken.
We have spoken. This is us right here. So, guys, we got to wrap it up real fast because I'm way over time. But we hope that you've enjoyed the Locked On Steelers podcast on the Wednesday edition. I'm Chris Carter, your host here on Locked On Steelers at Carter Critiques. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. He's Iampietro at IamDean16 from Channel 11 WPXI. He's Josh Axelrod from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette at Jackselberg with an H from Twitter. Follow them. They do great stuff. Check us out in the Locked On Steelers Facebook group. Remember, rate us 5 stars with a positive comment on Apple Podcasts, and you get a shout out at the end of the show. Thanks to all those who've done that. Be back in years tomorrow with more on your Pittsburgh Steelers.